Now we're going to turn to the My Build part of our show. Phil, if you can get us started here, we'll go to the My Build tonight and have the modelers show what they're working on.
Certainly, Jim. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started right now, and we will start off with My Build. This is My Build. Chris can't be here this week, so Jim and I will try together to fill in. So our first builder is Martin Breckvile. So Martin, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Okay. It's a lovely picture of me that I made a model out of. No, there you go. My usual exercise when I'm bored or have too much time on my hands, I just build another maintenance of way car. And no particular origins of this one other than an amalgamation of photos and my imagination. Thank you. So it just the scratch, it's an entirely scratch built car, lots of wood, brass, and all kinds of bits and pieces, full underbody, nothing inside. There is a little yellow puddle next to the dog, so that's what the excitement's about. You can't have the dog piddling on the merchandise. The windows don't slide, but I thought they would be interesting if they did. Someday I'll do that again. Not just a piece of brass that's folded into a Z for a deflector over the windows. I don't know if there's any more or not.
That's the last one.
That's only set one? Hooray.
That's it. Just one. Just amazing. So
No.
Anyone got any questions for Martin?
Martin, why do you build maintenance of way cars? What about them? Why is that so important to you?
They're just very entertaining. I can get away with anything. If I can imagine it, somebody else probably already did and put it to use. And it goes to that art thing. I can have fun with it, be creative, explore whatever I feel like, and say what if, and then answer it.
Gotcha.
You kind of thumb your nose and say it doesn't have to be prototypical. Means the way cars work. It can be an amalgamation. That's great.
Well, that's true. And I have built, I don't know, I guess 70 or 80 maintenance away cars. I actually have built one prototype one. It has happened.
There you go.
Yeah, it was probably a mistake, but I did it.
Nice model.
Okay, so next we're going to, I got to get Martin. This is an interesting challenge here. Our next modeler is actually Chris Course, and Chris is not here, so he won't be able to narrate, but this is Chris's build of the Tom York kit. So you can kind of get an idea of what he did on the kit, his initial view, and they could probably talk to you about how he did it, but I think everyone kind of can imagine that, can imagine it from what we saw from Tom, but it looks very nice. Very nice color tones on it.
Chris is really proud of this structure that he's got here. He
very nice.
Hires Tom tremendously. Tom sold out. Every one of these is now gone. So I think that's great. But Chris spent a lot of time and effort trying to get this weathered and so on. He did something different. He told me he did not start by painting the building white. He just started with the weathering.
Excellent. So that was Chris's way, and hopefully at some point maybe do more of a wrap up with others that might have built them and talk about the techniques, etc.
Yep.
So with that, our next candidate is Bob Davidson.
All right, why don't you go to the first one?
Yep, here we go.
So this is a project. My layout is based in Brooklyn around the Gowanus Canal. And this is a prototype photo of the Ken Tile Floors factory And I was intrigued by this because Foss scale models just came out with a kit version of this. But I wanted to try to scratch build it using my laser cutter. So go to the next slide. So here you can see I've the left-hand picture shows the face frame of the sign. And then I actually took a picture of a sheet inside the laser cutter. I used 0.8 millimeter plywood to build the structure. And those lines that I cut, those are a 32nd of an inch wide. So they basically work out to be about a 32nd inch square, which in HO scale worked out to what I wanted it to look like. We can go to the next one. So here you can see I've started assembling the face frame with those girts. I used CA and I actually used some PVA too. And then next slide. So here you can see it's assembled. I still have some cross bracing to do on it and some other support work. So as I say, this is in progress. I haven't finished it yet. Next slide. Then to do the letters, the lettering on the, and this is one of the things I didn't care for in the model, the letters on the prototype were what's called channel letters. So there was neon set inside a three-dimensional box. So the top left photo shows I cut the lettering backs out of that same 0.8 millimeter plywood. And then the lower right photo shows the reveals. Those are actually about a 32nd of an inch thick cutouts out of 1/8 inch MDF. So if we go to the last picture, so here you can see this is how the lettering will all go together to create these channel letters for the sign. So hopefully I'll be back in the next my build and be able to show this to you all painted and assembled. So, but I was pretty excited about using the laser cutter. I did all the drawings in Illustrator and it just worked out great. So any questions?
That is outstanding. I've never seen anything like that before. I'm really interested to see how your lettering is going to finally end up.
Yeah. All righty. Thank you.
Okay, our next presenter is Gary Shergold.
Yeah, this is the stagecoach that I built a while back. It's a Jordan model. And I got some of the, I got 4 horses. And when I got the horses, they were just plain. So what I did was I took some electrical tape, cut it very thin, and I made all the harnesses in that for the horses, and then ran the lines along to the seating area, hooked it up to the brake, and the one driver, he's out in front just settling the horses down. The whole thing was mounted on a piece of styrene and then covered with real dirt. And prior to setting the model down, I ran rungs down the length of it, so that it sort of shows a road path that these would have traveled on. But this is the finished stagecoach with the horses all done.
Beautiful. That's really beautiful. That's HO, right?
That's HO, yeah.
Is that John Wayne or Kirk Douglas up front?
I'm not sure. What I did here was Pat Rivard gave me an article that he came across. These are HO scale undecorated AccuRail cars. And the article basically talked about how to really weather these cars. So basically they've lost their coloring. And what I did was I started painting them up into the natural brown color obviously is gone. and I wanted it heavily weathered. What I did was they were painted a very shallow gray, and then all the side framings were painted boxcar brown, and then another coat of washes were put on to darken and lighten the grays. And this is the other car. I did two cars. This is the other one. A very light wash of rust was put over everything, run down the steel side frames, supporting bars and that. And then the deckling was put on and then faded with the distress pins. And they look, it actually came out quite nice. I was very happy with the way it came out. This is making plastic look like wood.
Very nice, very nice. Comes out, looks very much like a older wooden boxcar.
Sure
Yeah,
does.
it's extremely faded.
Yep.
I'm quite happy with the way they turned out. Same with the roof walk was
Yeah.
same way, same method.
That's very nice, Gary. With the wood, the paint will disappear first and stay longer on the metal parts.
Yeah.
Right.
That's good. Very
There's
nice.
a lot of rust seepage into the wood.
Mm-hmm. Nice job.
Thank you.
Okay, well, our next modeler is Ron Walters. Father Ron, here he is.
Hello.
And a model.
Look at
Well,
this.
Yeah, I've shown the one on the left before. This is the Palace Theater from San Antonio, Texas. The one I showed before just had the sign up. It didn't have all of the wire and chain to secure the sign to keep it from falling. So I've added all of that. The one on the right is the church from St. Mary's Church. So I thought I'd show that. That was one of our My builds. And so I've shown you my build of it. I used, what's they call it, avocado, I think or light avocado is the name of the acrylic paint for the green, and the rest is an off-white. And then I think that second set of directions that I showed how to draw something in Inkscape, I talked about the Capella del Sol, and here's my rendering of that in wood. It's constructed, behind all of that is the basic frame of the building is basswood. And I used, I think I might have mentioned a long time ago, I have a friend who smokes cigars, and he gives me all the cedar wrappings.
Yeah.
So what you see there is all cedar, very thin. The paneling on the side of the building, the clapboard paneling is, golly, if it's even a half of a millimeter thick, it's very, very thin. It's almost like working with tissue paper, cutting it into 1 foot strips.
Yeah.
And then the top is the cedar separation between the layers of cigars in the cigar box, and everything else is basswood strip. The corners there and those are all from, I don't know where, I guess it's Micromark or one of those companies that makes that wooden angle. And I used the wood stain pens to stain the color of the basswood for that. And the doors are tissue, plastic tissue. But that's what I've been doing in my spare time right now, rendering that that painting actually into a reality. So it still needs, go back again. It still needs some weathering. Obviously, you don't see any of the weathering on it yet. The next one is one of the My Builds that you did a long time ago, that Banta warehouse. I decided to do that, and the flooring there is all added. That wasn't in the kit. I've added the flooring, and then I decided to put an interior. This is a warehouse or transfer, whatever. I don't have the roof done yet. You can see in the background there some of that very, very thin cedar strips. And I put some figures in there. I've got some more interior to put into the warehouse. But that's all I've done on that so far. The kit basically came with only one sheet of the strips for the side of the building. And so I had to contact Bill Banta and say, can I have a second one since it's supposed to have two? So he sent me an entire set of paneling. So I've got some extra strips now I can use on some other building.
Looks very nice.
That's
Very
what I've
nice.
been working on.
Any questions?
I love the model with the cigar cedar stuff. That to me is it's cheap because it's free.
Yes.
And I have a liquor store here in Florida that sells cigars, and they save all of that for me. And I go by once every 2 weeks and pick up a black sack of that stuff, all different shapes and sizes and everything else. But the thin stuff is what I use for my shingle roofs.
Yes. It's very thin. It's tissue paper, literally.
Yeah.
And so I had to be very careful in cutting it into strips.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, our next modeler is Ray. So hang on, I've got to get Ray up here. There we go. I think we
It's
should be
actually, it's actually Roy.
Roy, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Misreading
Spelled
here.
wrong there too. You got the pictures?
And here we go.
Okay, so this is a American Model Builders barn. And that's built pretty close to what the instructions show. So what's the big changes? Well, as you can see at one end of the barn, I left the doors open. And at the one on the right, I actually took those doors off because they're the same on the other end, and closed the area up just a little bit and put a roll-up door in there so I could actually put a man door in, because the building has no man door. And I thought that's kind of strange. Every barn I've seen always has a man door. And so that's the changes there. The hardest part of this whole build was all the shingles, getting all the shingles on and getting them placed pretty close to correct. And then what I also did was this, I made the top quarter of the roof so it would actually open so I could get at some of the stuff inside. So what I did was I built a floor about right where the line is across the model for a second story inside the model, because there's nothing in it. And so I put a floor in there and I put a stairwell in, and then I put some incandescent lighting, 2 bulbs in the upper floor, one over the stairwell and one just general lighting. And yeah, that's better. And then the downstairs, you can see there's soft incandescent lighting. And on the outside, I put LED lighting as yard lights. And so the paint was Tamiya, actually Tamiya paint that used for on cars and that kind of stuff, but it came out of the airbrush real nice. And also you can brush it. And on the inside, I used Hunter Line's white stain for the whitewash, and now the walls are all whitewashed inside. So that's my changes from what the kit looked like. So that was kind of fun doing that. Yeah, it wasn't too challenging. What was challenging was like I said, the shingles. And this guy is a little kit. You guys all encouraged me to try a cardboard kit. I never wanted to try a cardboard kit, and just said, cardboard kits I looked at didn't interest me. But I had picked this one up a few years ago, and so the kit's made by an English company, and I thought I still had the information, but I went looking for it tonight. I couldn't find it. So this kit is basically, as the instructions say, the weathering is included right in the cardboard. So it's all cardboard. And the interesting thing is they give you the Quonset hut round part, and you have to bend it around and use elastic bands or whatever to get it to fit up against the walls. And then you glue it on the bottom side. And that's what makes the kit. So you guys encouraged me, number one, to build the cardboard one and to get going on some wood models. I've done wood models before, but the barn is definitely the biggest one I've done. So that's it was kind of interesting, kind of fun. And so it makes a very nice model, both of them. I haven't weathered the barn at all yet. That'll come later when I figure where it's going on the layout. Thank you very much.
Very nice. So they're both HO scale, I assume.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Mhm.
Welcome back to the hobby. You've done a great job.
Thank you.
Super.
Roy, is that a Scale Scenery? Is that the company from Great Britain?
I'm not sure. You could be right. I think it's an English company. It seems to me. I do have a little card here that this is 3DK. These guys also make stuff. And I just phoned the number tonight to see if the guy was in, and I couldn't get a hold of him. But if you just turn my camera back on, I'll just hold it there if somebody wants to look at the thing. Well, I guess he's not. Okay, that's fine. So thank you again, guys.
Thank you, Roy.
Yeah, you actually were up, so people could see it. You can also, if you want, you can just type it in the chat. Just click on the chat button and type the link in the chat.
I'll probably do that next time. And I'll confirm first by phone that this guy's still around. He actually operates out of Hamilton, Ontario.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
20 minutes down the road from here.
Thanks, and we look forward to seeing the barn with some weathering next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Thank
So that completes my build for this week. In a month, August 23rd, will be the my build, and this is the August Harvest Challenge. So this is the idea to bring your harvest scene, something that represents the end of the summer, and Chris asks you to get your photos to him. The rail runner, his email is in the chat if you want to get it. Really try to get them to him early so he has time to put them together. And that pretty much concludes it, Jim, and I'll throw it back to you.